Hello, I'm attorney Tammy Saltzman, and you are watching Divorce Connection Network. Today, I am so pleased to have a very dear friend and former neighbor, Pamela Polani. Hi, Pam. How are you?
Good. How are you? Thank you for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. Our boys went to school together, and I recently moved from our neighborhood. And Pam is my go-to girl when someone needs a will, when someone's getting a divorce, or even contemplating a divorce. You want to seriously consider, what does your current estate documents read? Most of you out there will have your spouse as the testator of your estate, or the successor trustee, or the power of attorney to make all medical and financial decisions on your behalf if you become incapacitated. Isn't that correct?
100%. And I don't mean to make this in any other way than gender neutral, but my tagline often is, ladies, please do not make your man your estate plan. So you want to make sure that you actually take care of yourself. Men and women, you need to make sure that you have the documents in place reflected in the event that you are not with your spouse, that that person is not the designated person in the event, more likely not even so that when you die, but in the event that when you're alive, they're not making decisions. I've come across, and I think Tammy has heard this story a few times.
Okay, well, let's tell it to the audience.
So I had a client who called me up, who was actually a referral from another attorney, and she called me up and she said, I've been separated from my husband for the past 9 months. And as we know, there's no legal separation in Florida.
Right.
Her husband was much older than her. They had 2 minor children. She called up and she said, I just got contacted because I knew he was ill, but he actually had filed paperwork, I guess, when he initially got ill with hospice. And hospice has contacted her saying she is the designated living will surrogate. Would she be able to be, on a moment's notice, able to come down to make a decision on his health care? Now, this was a couple, remember, who was actually separated for more than 9 months.
Right.
They were definitely on the path to getting a divorce. It just had not happened yet. We went to court, and the long story short, the sister of the dying man was opposed to it and actually tried to introduce evidence of the contrary, saying her brother would not have wanted to have this happen. Well, the court said because he did not actually sign a new living will, even though he tried to have a new will, it wasn't sufficient intent to show that this woman would not be his designated healthcare surrogate.
Right, so in the state of Florida, you can't just say this is what you want if you have documentation to the contrary.
Right.
What you would need is a new will, and we have certain requirements in the state of Florida to make that will valid. You need 2 witnesses, you need a notary, everybody needs to witness everybody's signature.
And it has to be done twice in the state of Florida. It has to be self-proving, right?
Self-proving. So that's very important.
100%.
And a lot of the forms that you buy at Office Depot or on the internet might not have all of the Florida requirements of what you need.
I love her, because that's actually exactly what happened. He had gone and had done a will that he had just downloaded from the internet, and he, in his will, said that he was actually giving everything for his minor children, nothing for his spouse. Now, what was the problem? They were still married. There isn't a marital elective share of 30% in the state of Florida. This will actually was invalid because he tried to do it himself, and he did not know. Had he consulted with an attorney and put in a provision that said, upon my divorce being final, then I do not want my wife or my current wife to be receiving any type of marital share, that could have been possible.
You know, a lot of times couples come in to get divorced, and it takes 2 years to work things out. And those 2 years could be tumultuous years with your spouse, where you hate him and he hates you. And then what happens if, God forbid, one of them is in a car accident and the other person has the power to go into the checking account and withdraw all the money? Or worse, they have the medical power of attorney and the living will, and they can make decisions for you, and those decisions might not be for your best interest or what you actually wanted.
Exactly. And the problem is that they are consulting with family law attorneys, and that's a great person to tell your financial asset issues with.
Yes.
You know, if you want that toaster, by all means, I know Tammy can work out issues like that. However, seeing an estate planning attorney who's up to date on the latest and most revised laws that there have been enacted is very important. A lot of attorneys are not aware that there was changes for the durable powers of attorney in 2011, and unless they know exactly how to have that document drafted, it may not currently reflect what it needs to be for a bank to accept it. So truly seeing an estate planning attorney while you're going through a divorce is very crucial. I work very, very well with every marital law attorney that I come across.
Right.
Why? Because I'm advocating with you to make sure that client is taken care of 100%.
I know that there are a lot of attorneys out there that do a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and as long as they're taking all the current CLE, continuing legal education courses, so that they know that the laws are changing, it's very important. I practice family law and I also practice real estate, and I'm constantly going to courses learning about all the new rules and regulations that regulate that particular area of law. But if someone, even a lawyer, could make mistakes. So if you have these forms out there on the internet and at Office Depot, and no offense to Office Depot at all,
or LegalZoom,
or any of those things, but unless you know that they're going to meet with the Florida requirements and have been updated to reflect all the current legislation and rules and regulations, you're taking such a big chance. Right. With something that's your estate, which you would probably want to go to your children and certainly not to your ex-spouse.
110% again. Honestly, the fact is, I always say to people, why would you see a foot surgeon if you were having a problem with your brain? Likewise, you're not going to go see a personal injury attorney to take care of your marital issues or your probate issues or your estate planning issues. It's also a matter of, when I sit down with clients, even women who are very savvy or men who are financially, done well in life, they're always surprised when I say to them, your estate is not what you think it is. They'll say, oh, I don't really have anything to really consider. It's very simple. I want all this to go to my children. But when I ask a few questions and I do what I've done for the past, almost 20 years, then they say, oh, I didn't realize that. Or, oh, I'm so glad you asked that. Because it does become an issue. Even for the pets. People are very attached. People are very attached. Tammy's laughing. I have seen divorces go really bad.
That's why I'm laughing.
Because of dogs. Can you imagine if you try to actually make it so that your dog is devised to someone else other than your spouse, what that's going to be? And yes, so we talk about all those kind of things, not from everything in your life, not just finances, but things that are emotionally important to you as well.
Even burial arrangements.
100%.
Sometimes they don't think about that. And not many lawyers even think to ask the question, did you buy, a plot somewhere with your spouse? And if you did, is that where you want to be buried? And I know this is a morose conversation, but, better to be safe than sorry down the road. So it's an interesting, you're starting to make me think of additional questions that I should be asking my clients when they come in to see me. And they should be standard questions that all family law attorneys ask. Do you offer a free consultation?
I not only offer a free consultation, I am a concierge attorney, and you know this, which means that I will actually travel to clients. Not in every instance can I travel to a client, but I will actually take my Sundays or my after work hours, and I will go to clients wherever they are, their offices, their homes, hospice. I want to ensure that they feel as comfortable as possible in making their estate plan. So I also say to clients, if you have any doubts or any concerns about who's going to take care of you in the event that you are hurt, would you really want it to be your soon-to-be ex-spouse? If you have any concerns about what's going to happen to your family heirlooms, why would you leave this up to your children to make that decision? Why would you not want to put this down in writing? If you have any concerns about children who have special needs, who might have drug abuse issues, have substance abuse issues, any kind of autism, why would you want to leave that unattended? I would certainly recommend a free consultation. I come to you. I will talk to you from, every part of your life that you're willing to share, to make sure that you have a custom-made, tailored, not a form document reflecting your life's desires.
Very important to think about this. Even if you're considering a divorce, your spouse and you are fighting, you're in counseling, go and look at your will, go look at your trust, go look at your documents, and make sure, given the frame of mind that you're in at this moment, is this how you want your documents to reflect? Am I correct in assuming that they can just do an addendum to their documents, a codicil perhaps?
I really try to make estate planning as affordable as possible. I take, flexible payments, monthly payments, credit cards, whatever it takes. If I don't have to reinvent the wheel, I'm happy to do that for them. I don't want to make it a situation where they would rather not do something because it's so expensive or so burdensome. I really want to encourage them to make sure they do their estate planning, because before your troubles hit the fan, you want to have your estate plan.
That's very cute.
Thank you.
All right, Pam, I want to thank you so much for joining us today. This has been great.
Likewise. She's the best.
Aw, thank you so much. Well, if you are interested in contacting Pam, you can find her information on our website at divorceconnectionnetwork.com. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time.